Welcome back to Circuit of the Americas. It is Superbikes at Texas in this 10th anniversary season of the MotoAmerica Championship. But it is time now for the final race of the BellissiMoto Twins Cup. It has been a 6-round, 12-race championship. 2 races being held at each of Daytona, Road Atlanta, Barber, Road America, Brainerd, and then the final race here today at Circuit of the Americas. It's all going to come down to this one, Roger Hayden.
Yeah, just after yesterday, what a change in events we've had going into the last race of the year as we go back and look at yesterday's highlights of race 1 this weekend at COTA to see what I was talking about. We went into this race with Rocco Landers with a 19-point lead over Alessandro Di Mario, who gets a great start. His goal to this race was just to get out, check out, and try to win. You see Rocco there works his way past Rossi Moore in second, and a huge mistake from Rocco going down. He picks his bike back up. He gets back in the race. Then Rossi Moore, big crash out of turn 1. See the rider and the bikes in the middle of the track. Red flag came out, so Rocco got to restart, but they're on the 4th row. Alessandro Di Mario by Dominic Doyle early on. You see the orange bike there in your screen. That's Rocco Landers working his way up from the 4th row. Now he gets past Gus Rodeo, has his sights on Dominic Doyle right there with the really good ride on the Yamaha. Alessandro Di Mario just slowly chipping away, putting the laps down, and then Rocco Landers, a weird crash into the last corner. See that big high side. He's already up, trying to get back to the bike. Realize he's not going to be able to get back into the race. So Alessandro Di Mario out in the lead. Went into this race 19 points back. You see Rocco cannot believe what happened and goes into today after that race 6 points ahead after the win.
With all of the pressure off for Alessandro Di Mario, this weekend his only objective was to go out and win these races. He's been able not only to do that, but he's been able to just dominate. He's led every single session up to the morning warm-up so far this weekend. And with that, you see the championship point standings and the shift that has happened. Alessandro now leading the way by 6 points over Rocco Landers. Before we get bikes out on the racetrack, let's get down to Michael Hill.
Yeah, thanks, Jamie. Just looking at that championship standings, though, as Roger said, what a pivotal moment yesterday between Rocco Landers, who we see on screen now, just pulling up on the grid here at Circuit of the Americas. He's been in this position before. He's won championships, 3 of them in MotoAmerica, 2 in the Junior Cup, 1 in the Twins Cup. He's definitely got more experience of these kind of situations than his 15-year-old rival, Alessandro Di Mario. We spoke to Kevin Rodeo earlier this morning during warm-up, and Di Mario really doesn't come across like a 15-year-old. He is so calm, cool, and collected. He doesn't need to win this race, of course. He has a 6-point advantage. If Rocco wins this race and Di Mario finishes second, Di Mario takes the title by 1 point. And of course, Rocco, I'm sure with that experience, will be trying to put some other riders in the mix. There are a couple of other riders we just saw there, Gus Rodeo, also Dominic Doyle. Let's not discount Rossi Moore as well, but there's also a fight, Jamie, for 3rd in the championship. So it's kind of 2 championship fights within one for the title and 1 for P3. And of course, finishing 3rd as opposed to 4th also has big ramifications as well. So the warm-up lap then is underway. Here we go. It's Twins Cup, the decider.
BellissiMoto Twins Cup is brought to you by BellissiMoto, where the biggest names in custom bike building shop for parts. And by Dunlop, the official tire of the MotoAmerica Championship Series.
As we get ready for this final race of the season for BellissiMoto Twins Cup, Roger Hayden, this racetrack itself has been one of the big storylines. It's a very challenging circuit. We saw the incidents unfold yesterday. Take us on a lap around here.
One of the longest tracks we go to throughout the whole year on the MotoAmerica calendar. As you mentioned, down into turn 1 off the start. The goal is to get through there clean, and then from there all the way to turn 11 is just back and forth. The long straightaway down into 12, one of the best passing zones. The track really tightens up through 15, 16, then really long right-hander into 19, and then turn 20, the corner. We seen Rocco make that little mistake yesterday, right out of there, the line.
That little mistake that cost him heavily in this championship chase. You take a look at the starting grid, same as it was yesterday. Alessandro Di Mario, our pole sitter, Rocco Landers alongside him with Rossi Moore on the front row.
Gus Rodeo, Dominic Doyle, Matthew Chapman.
Going to row number 3, Avery Dreyer, Sean Varsky, and Romeo Chiavini.
Jeff Bean, Chris Parrish, Tyler Duffy.
Back to row number 5, you see Joseph Bittner, Carl Price, and Bryce DeBoer.
Jeffrey Perk, Jose Flores, and Sonia Louis.
Row 7, Michaela Moore out here this weekend with Chandler Slagle and Mookie Wilkerson.
Rodney Vest, Brendan Chasehorn, and Brogan Richards.
Row number 9, Cliff Coglihetti, Brad Foss, and Rich Foster with Drew Vandal rounding out the 28 riders here in BellissiMoto Twins Cup. The warm-up lap now complete. We've talked about the high temperatures here this weekend. Because of the high temperatures, in fact, these are quick start procedures for the Twins Cup riders. Track temperature right now 110 degrees, ambient temperature over 90, 53% humidity, and that wind is offering nothing for any of these riders. Coming around here to get back onto the grid after the sighting lap and then the warm-up lap. Final start of the season, Roger. What's going through these young riders' minds?
I think if I'm Alessandro DeMario, I want to get a good start and put my head down. If I'm Rocco Landers, I don't want to let that happen. I want to take some shots early and not DeMario get away.
It is an 8-lap race for the BellissiMoto Twins Cup. You see Rocco Landers there right in the middle of the front row. He's looking over to his right. That's where you'll see Alessandro DeMario once he makes his way around. Different strategies on how much you push the warm-up lap. There is our pole sitter, Alessandro DeMario, making that slow roll into that pole position grid spot. Scott Padgett there with the red flag at the head of the grid, waiting for the word from the back of the grid that everyone is in position. It is time to go. He'll move out of the way. The lights are off in the left-hand side of your screen. Lights are out. We are racing here. The final race, the BellissiMoto Twins Cup Championship. Rocco Landers looking over his shoulder. He had a great start.
Yeah, great start, and he's already looking over to see where DeMario is at. Alessandro's in deep, but is he going to run wide? Rocco makes a move out of turn 1, but DeMario in the lead. You see Rocco, he's working hard early.
The one thing he cannot do is let Alessandro DeMario dominate this race the way that he did yesterday. But for Rocco, he also can't push it as hard as he was pushing yesterday. He can have no mistakes.
No mistakes, but he has to win, and Alessandro DeMario is in a lot different spot today. The pressure isn't on him not to make the mistake.
At 15 years old, the weight of this championship now sitting on his shoulders. But if he can finish second, with Rocco Landers even winning this race, the swing is big enough that Alessandro DeMario would be crowned a champion for the first time. Rocco Landers already has 3 of them. He knows how to fight through this.
And Rossi Moore, this is a really good first lap for Rossi Moore. You see Rocco there hard on the brakes. Gus Rodeo also. Top 4 guys starting to make a break. Good draft.
Alessandro DeMario using it.
Good draft, able to get by, and we'll see what Rocco can do on the brakes. You know, he's going to try to take a shot, just not close enough.
And he has Rossi Moore right there behind him, ready to take advantage of any mistake that could potentially be made here on this opening lap. Top 4 riders all staying really close together. You see Dominic Doyle there on that blue bike in 5th. He was able to have that podium finish yesterday. For Rocco Landers, this is not the view he wanted going into the second half of this first lap of the race. He did not want Alessandro DeMario to be able to get around him. The pace that he has had all weekend, nobody's been able to even touch it.
Yeah, and you can see ever since he took the lead down into turn 12, he's already pulled out to almost a second lead there on Rocco Landers. You see Rossi Moore and Gus Rodeo also right there together.
It started in the first practice session on Friday morning. Alessandro DeMario came out of the gates just 1.4 seconds quicker than anyone else in the field. That carried over through both of the qualifying sessions. As the pole sitter, he went in with an 0.8 of a second advantage, and he was able to translate it into race pace yesterday. It was a big problem.
Dominic Doyle also now put himself, we said the top 4 broke away, but Dominic Doyle did a great job, and him and Gus are in that battle for 3rd and 4th in the points.
See the live championship standings. If they were to finish right here, Alessandro Di Mario clear out front, and he would take home that #1 plate. Michael?
Yeah, as it stands right now, Alessandro Di Mario is about 7.5 laps away, isn't he, from his first MotoAmerica championship. Roger, a question for you, really. We've seen in various championships over the years riders just settling and taking the points to bring home the championship. Alessandro Di Mario showing no sign of settling for second position. He wants to win his first title with a win. I mean, what is going through his mind right now?
Well, I think it's just going to be the longest race of his life, and he's going to be hearing the bike, thinking it's making noises, but you know, I think you see him get out in the lead because he doesn't want to get in a battle and then get caught up in somebody else's mistake. He has the pace to break this group, even if he doesn't go and backs it off a little bit. If Rocco gets in the lead, he's probably going to slow the pace down so all the other riders are in there.
Just seeing on the timing and scoring screen a message coming from race control, bike number 97. That is Rocco Landers, been issued a warning for track limits. We know that coming into the weekend, the announcement was made, you cannot go into that green paint area at turn 19. So for Rocco Landers, that is your one and only warning. After that, you lose 2 seconds.
And he's got some guys right behind him. You know, Rossi Moore's right there. Dominic Doyle's made his move past Gus Rodeo there for fourth.
See the gap now that Alessandro Di Mario has over this group of 2nd through 5th place, and Dominic Doyle up into 4th around Gus Rodeo.
It's like Dominic's going to try to make a move into turn 1. Actually, it's Rossi Moore who makes a move on Rocco Landers, and they're both going to run wide.
And Alessandro Di Mario, meanwhile, further up the racetrack, over 2 seconds clear of everybody else, turning the fastest lap of the race. He's down into the 2:18s. The only rider that's close to the 2:18s right now is Alessandro Di Mario, just taking a hold of this championship.
This is a really good bounce back race for Rossi Moore after having that big crash yesterday outside of turn 1, that nasty high side, and able to come back and put on a good ride like this.
He said this afternoon that he's definitely feeling the effects from that crash. He is bruised, his body is sore, but the last race of the year, the only thing these young riders can hope for at this point is just to go into the offseason with some momentum and a strong result, and he's putting all of it behind him for these 8 laps to be able to do that for himself.
Yeah, and just finish the year strong. Don't want to finish the year with a DNF, so he's wanting to end the year with the podium in a really good battle right now. But I think Dominic Doyle is going to try to make a move on Rocco down into turn 12.
Rocco Landers falling back. There's Dominic Doyle, that number 25, the blue bike. He finished 2nd yesterday, said he was a little bit speechless with that result. It had been a bit of a struggle to get himself there, and he is fighting to get back onto the podium again today. All he has to do now is get around Rocco Landers.
And that's not going to be easy. You see Rocco fights right back when he makes the pass. So we'll see what Dominic does now. He's got to do all that work all over. You can see those two going back and forth, what it's did with Rossi Moore able to pull out a couple bike lengths on those two.
One of the things we've seen out of Rocco Landers here in the second half of the BellissiMoto Twins Cup season is just the ability to be strong at the end of the races and putting all of the pieces together. That was the mid-season struggle for Alessandro Di Mario. He was obviously able to do it yesterday. He's been perfect all weekend long, like we talked about. But for Rocco Landers, with 5 laps to go in this 8-lap race, the strongest part for him has always been the end.
Always been toward the end, but he's got Dominic Doyle really trying to make a move on him, and he's kind of losing touch a little bit to Rossi Moore. So there's only 5 laps left. He's going to have to get going pretty quick if he wants to make a move on Rossi Moore. See that Dominic Doyle around the outside of turn 2 and able to make the pass.
So now Dominic Doyle is in that 3rd place podium position. Rocco Landers sitting behind him now is going to have to fight his way back to the front. And the bike that you can't even see in the shot with its over 3.5-second lead at Alessandro Di Mario continuing to turn consistent laps in the 2:18. He has nobody around him. He has nothing to worry about. It's head down. It's going for a title.
Yeah. 3.5 seconds. I think at this point you'll kind of see him. He's been doing 2:18s. I think you'll see him start to kind of slow down a little bit. Watch that pit board. The track's hot and greasy. Doesn't want to make a mistake toward the end of this race.
You could see that gap there as they came down the hill, and the advantage that Alessandro Di Mario, there's Alessandro Di Mario, the number 27. You can see the gap back to second place of Rossi Moore right now. So you'd see that he's got the clean track. He has no pressure behind. He has nobody he has to battle with up front. And while he can back off on the pace just a little bit, he also, when you talk to Alessandro, he says, I just need to keep doing me. He doesn't want to back off too much because it's when he pushes himself that he's able to succeed, as you see Rocco Landers go wide.
Yeah, Matthew Chapin also, it's a really good ride for him. He's kind of getting right on this battle for the top 5 there, just sitting in 6th.
It's great to have him out here this weekend in the BellissiMoto Twins Cup. He is our newly crowned Junior Cup champion, a round early even. There's still 2 races in that championship when we get to New Jersey Motorsports Park, but with no race here and the championship already his, he gets to come out and have an opportunity in Twins Cup as well. And he's had a really solid weekend, as you see Rocco Landers now in a battle with Gus Rodeo right on his rear tire.
Yeah, Gus is focusing up there on Dominic Doyle, wants to try to get up there and secure that 3rd in the championship.
That was Alessandro Di Mario, first place. There is Rossi Moore sitting in 2nd. It's over 5 seconds now. Just every single lap, that lead just continues to grow as Gus Rodeo was able to make the pass around Rocco Landers. Can he make it stick going into turn 1? And he does.
Really good pass into turn 1. Rocco's bike looks, on the straightaways, he's losing quite a bit. Like maybe there's an issue. You know, we've seen some of the other guys kind of go around the outside of him up the front straightaway. Not sure, but just looks a little bit off today. But Alessandro Di Mario, we talk a lot about race pace. Best lap 18.2, last lap 18.3. He's consistently just a 1.5 seconds quicker than the rest of the field. You see his mom there, probably pretty nervous right now.
And his dad, Luigi, I'm sure is down there nearby as well. The whole family working together on this full season championship assault. They started everything off back at Daytona. Didn't have a podium finish there. Both of those races were run by Gus Rodeo, and Di Mario came out at Road Atlanta and able to finish 3rd there to get that podium finish for him. He actually did finish 3rd in the 2nd race back at Daytona. So he's always been right there. You see the championship point standings as they are. And for Rocco Landers, put his hand up. He's slowing. You asked the question, does he have a problem, Roger? And that's the championship slipping out of his fingers.
That's it. Unfortunate for Rocco. It looked like he was losing a lot of spots on those straightaways, and that's unfortunate for Rocco.
Yeah, it is unfortunate for Rocco Landers, the championship falling apart in the last 24 hours, but it is not falling apart for this young man, just 15 years of age, and now he is the champion. Even if he fails to finish now, he cannot be caught. So, ladies and gents, we are looking at the 2024 BellissiMoto Twins Cup champion, Jamie Howe. What a moment for him, what a moment for the Robum team. Heartbreak for Rocco, but elation for 15-year-old Alessandro Di Mario.
It's elation right now for his team that's down on pit lane, I'm sure. I don't know if Alessandro Di Mario is aware of the problem that Rocco Landers has at the moment. Does he know that he's won the title? Can he see the scoreboard?
I'd probably looking to the left there. Also, his pit board would be the only communication. I'm sure they probably have a sign maybe that says Rocco out. But I think, like you mentioned, he's just going to keep his head down and do what he's been doing. He's so consistent. We see Rocco there, comes out when he grabs it. See, when he went to shift there, you seen that big puff of smoke.
And that's when Rocco realized that it was over for him, putting his hand up, and then you saw him tilt his head down there. For Alessandro Di Mario, 15 years old, first-time champion here in MotoAmerica. We're going to be saying his name for many years to come.
Yeah, just what he's did first year in Twins Cup, and as you mentioned, 15 years old, the way he's handled the stress and the pressure this weekend. The speed that he has shown throughout the year on this Twins Cup bike, just been super impressive to see.
Less than 3 laps remaining here in this race. It's also been a good day for Rossi Moore. We talked about the trouble that he had yesterday, that huge crash, and he's been able to put all of these laps together, sitting in second place right now. Dominic Doyle in position for another strong podium result as well.
You see Rocco there walking back. Can just see the disappointment. You hate to see that for a young guy like Rocco. You want to go out with the fight and be able to challenge, and you know, it's part of racing though.
One of the great things that Rocco did in this return to Twins Cup, if you remember, he is a Twins Cup champion, having won the title back in 2020. And when he came back into this category this year with that Revzilla Vance and Hines Suzuki team, he really elevated the level of competition, and he made everybody else push harder.
Yeah, and that's been huge for these kids. And look at Matthew Chapin also there, moved his way into fourth, and see what if he can put on a charge these last couple laps and get on the podium. Just did his personal best sector on this lap, so he's about 2 seconds back, so he's going to really need to find some speed if he's going to do it.
You see the relief there. She was biting her nails the last time we saw, now knowing that her 15-year-old son is the BellissiMoto Twins Cup champion for 2024. They get to just watch these final laps unfold and make their way over to the podium to be able to celebrate with their young rider. And for Alessandro, he didn't put a wheel wrong all weekend. We talked about leading every single session. He had no pressure. All he had to do was win, and he's been able to do that. Yeah,
and just the lap times he's doing with the almost 7-second lead, and he's still doing another 2:18.3. So he's definitely not slowing down.
You know, we talked about it on Friday, Roger. Alessandro having the opportunity to also race for the first time this weekend in the hooligans category, and the challenge of going back and forth from bike to bike, and as a young rider without all of the experience as some of the older guys, what effect would that have on him? I think it relaxed him.
Yeah, I think he had fun. He was smiling a lot on the pre-show, talking about how fun the Super Hooligan race was. And if you think about the Super Hooligan race earlier today, the ride that he had on that thing, you know, coming all the way through the pack like he did, didn't get to score points, but the ride that he had, it has to give him a little bit more confidence, a track that he doesn't have a lot of laps at, and probably helped him take his mind off. When you sit around and you think about it all the time, you can really overthink yourself. So I think it gave him an opportunity just to have some fun.
You can see this 8.5-second gap now that Alessandro DiMario has over second place of Rossi Moore. Dominic Doyle there on the number 25, still sitting in third. And there you see the number 95, that's Matthew Chapin that you talked about. Can he get himself into a podium result here in his first weekend of BellissiMoto Twins Cup action? Sitting in fourth right now. We'll see if he can do it over these last two laps. But for Alessandro DiMario, he's still turning lap times in that 2:18 range. He is certainly not slowing down.
Not at all. Still just clicking them off. We'll see this lap time here. See if he decides to finally bring it home. But, you know, I'm sure he knows now, looking at that scoring pylon up the front straightaway on the left side, knows the pressure is off.
For DiMario, his best lap of this race came on lap number 2. That was a 2:18.2. The white flag is now being shown. This is the final lap of competition for the 2024 BellissiMoto Twins Cup Championship. That is our new champion, Alessandro DiMario. He has the number 27 on the bike right now. He comes back next season. He'll carry that number 1 plate for the first time in his very young career. So you take a look at the championship point standings with Rocco Landers and the issue he had just a couple of laps ago, now 31 points back.
That last lap, Alessandro finally slowed down a little bit, did a 2:21. He just makes sure he brings it home from this point. Just an outstanding ride by him, outstanding ride this weekend, and his team as well. And just the way he's, throughout the year, just slowly improved. And we got to about mid-season, and he was a player every race weekend.
It's been fun to watch him develop over the course of the season. At 15, you know, think back to some of his interviews early on in this year. Think back to Barber, and he got off of the bike, and he was so fast at Barber also, and he was like, I don't know what I did. It just seemed to be a lot faster than everybody else. Just so young, refreshing, so honest, and he's worked really hard to continue to grow this year. He might have slowed down that last lap, but that second place right behind him, over 7 seconds, still separating Alessandro DiMario from the rest of the field. And just a great, great ride by him, not just today, but yesterday. And on Friday through practice in that first qualifying session. He really made a statement to everybody else out there on the grid that he wasn't here just to settle for second place in the championship. He was here to do everything that he could to win it, and all of that has culminated into this.
Yeah, and he's did it as well. Came in, like you said, very first practice, made a statement that he was here to win, and he's did that.
See another rider there pulling out of the way. We have, Matthew Chapin. Wondering if he would be able to get himself onto the podium here this weekend, and having an issue here on the final lap of this race, but no issues up front for Alessandro Di Mario. Taking the checkered flag, our 2024 BellissiMoto champion, Alessandro Di Mario. Big round of applause from the rest of the team. You see Rossi Moore there on the number 92 being able to clean it up from yesterday, bring home a podium result for his whole team. Dominic Doyle able to finish in third and lock up third place in the championship for himself as well. But there is our young champion, Alessandro Di Mario. He had 3 pole positions this year, 9 times found himself on the podium with that win here today, doing the double this weekend. 3 wins on the season for this very young rider.
Yeah, great season that he's put together. The consistency, you know, you look at that, 9 podiums throughout the whole year, and that's what adds up. You know, just being consistent and getting the podiums. And, you know, look at the race pace. Look at lap 1 all the way down to lap 5 before he slowed down. I mean, they're just all so close, especially laps 3 to 5.
And he was the only rider that was in that 218 range all throughout the race as he is soaking in this cool down lap. You saw him there laughing inside of his helmet, just celebrating for himself. Second place going to Rossi Moore. Dominic Doyle there you saw up on the screen finishing third. Congratulations to all of these riders. It's been fun to watch throughout the entire season. Can't wait to hear from Alessandro Di Mario when he makes his way to the podium.
BellissiMoto Twins Cup is brought to you by BellissiMoto, where the biggest names in custom bike building shop for parts. And by Dunlop, the official tire of the MotoAmerica Championship Series.
Continuing here at Circuit of the Americas, you can see all of the construction, everything going on here around this incredible facility. Rocco Landers there on the side of the track waiting for a ride. Love how he even puts his thumb up there. He's going to need a ride back to be able to get to his team, and that tells you how bad that issue was for him, not being able not only to finish this race, but having no power to be able to even get the bike back.
Yeah, not even get it back to the pits. And, you know, you got to feel for Rocco there. Just have that mechanical with the bike.
As Rocco waits for a ride, see if we can take a look at the full results from this final race of the season. It's all about Alessandro Di Mario. Just such an incredible season that he was able to put together here right at the end. Rossi Moore finishing second today, Dominic Doyle in third, and there you see Gus Rodeo in fourth.
Yeah, Matthew Chapin, Sean Unvarsky, Avery Dreyer, Tyler Duffy.
It's good for Matthew. We saw him go down there on that last lap. He must have been able to pick it up and get back out there. And Avery Dreyer there finishing in 7th. You saw Tyler Duffy in 8th and Bryce DeBoer in 9th. And Rocco Landers still waiting for a ride, but we did see him put his thumb up to Alessandro Di Mario as well. It looked like that might have been in congratulations, and here are the two. Classy move there by Rocco Landers, going over to congratulate Alessandro Di Mario, and Di Mario also stopping to pick him up, giving Di Mario the thumbs up and congratulations. That's really cool. Rocco Landers, he was in that position before. He'll remember the first time he was able to win a championship. He has 3 of them now, and being able to congratulate Di Mario, that's pretty cool to see, Roger. Here are the highlights.
Yeah, speaking of Rocco, there he is in the middle of the front row. Good game plan early, big aggressive with Alessandro Di Mario. You see he tries to make a move here through the S's on the very first lap. Able to make it stick. From there, Rossi Moore, you see he got a great start as well. So did Gus Rodeo. But you see down this box straightaway, Alessandro Di Mario just gets a great draft. on Rocco Landers and able to make the pass before they even got onto the brakes, and then Rocco started running into trouble. You see Rossi Moore got by, and then Dominic Doyle's going to work his way around Rocco Landers as well. Rossi Moore, great ride by Rossi Moore there in second. Dominic Doyle, see Rocco, he's trying to fight back as much as possible. Then Gus Rodeo makes his way around Rocco, and then on the back straightaway went the shift, and there went the engine. And it's just such unfortunate for Rocco. He's had a great year. He put up a heck of a fight. Just a couple of little mistakes ended up costing them at the end. But Alessandro DeMario put on a show this weekend, a class above the rest of the field, wins the race, and he is your champion.
Just a dominating performance all weekend. At some points in the race today, the advantage that he had was up to over 8.5 seconds. He was able to slow it down, rein it in, a 6.5 second gap by the time it got down to the end of this race. We see the riders now making their way over to the podium to be able to celebrate. Rossi Moore there, we talked about it after that crash yesterday. He said his body was sore, but he really just wanted to go out and end on the high note, and he was certainly able to do that. Take a look at the championship points, the final standings here in BellissiMoto Twins Cup for the 2024 season. Alessandro DeMario, our new champion, able to accumulate 216 points, and Rocco Landers there in second, 31 points back.
Dominic Doyle ended up third. Gus Rodeo, Rossi Moore rounding out the top 5.
It was a great season all around, and with the riders now there to celebrate, let's get down to Michael Hill.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. There's a lot of emotion down here. Alessandro goes over to his father, Luigi. Tears down here. His mom, Manola, just coming in as well. And she was, well, she wasn't even watching that race. She had her back to the screen for most of it. I was stood down there watching. You can see the emotion. We're going to speak to Alessandro in a second. I wonder whether we can just get a quick word while we wait for this presentation down here. Of course, Bill Cumbo from the AMA will be making the plate presentation. I wonder whether we could just speak to Manola, Alessandro's mom, and I know I was stood next to you in that race. You didn't even watch most of that race. You were so nervous. How do you feel right now? How proud are you of your son? He is the 2024 champion. What a great day for you and the family.
I'm really super happy and I have no words because we didn't expect this.
You can see the emotion. The emotion is real. Congratulations. We're going to go and speak to Alessandro. We're going to move our way in now. Man, there are so many photographers and people down here. Right there, let's come down and have this presentation before I go in and speak to Alessandro. Bill Cumbo down here from the AMA. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a big crowd down here. Your 2024 BellissiMoto.com Twins Cup champion is Alessandro DeMario. And there he has that #1 plate. And now I think there's a little bit of emotion there. Let's just come in and just squeeze in, if we can, the new golden helmet there, the 2024 champion helmet. Alessandro, I've got to know you quite well this season. You've always struck me as being a young man that has been so calm and collected. You didn't seem phased at any point this weekend. You are the 2024 Twins Cup MotoAmerica champion. That sounds pretty nice, doesn't it?
Yeah, it sounds really nice. It was hard. It wasn't easy at all, you know. Rocco was fast all year, oh my God. And, you know, I came into this week and I was really confident. I like the track, and it's really hot. But it's a little better than yesterday. Yesterday felt a lot worse. So I just went out. I knew what I could do. So I just tried to do as many fast laps as possible at the start, try to pull a little gap. When I saw the pit board with the gap, I started to manage it. And until the last lap, my last lap was super slow. I didn't want to make any mistakes. I left off quite a bit, but I just want to thank everybody, my whole team, Mike, Chad, Kevin, Freddie from home, Sarah for the pictures, love you. My teammate Gus, he's been a great teammate all year. And I just want to thank all my sponsors. Oh, also my brother, he's in the Marine Corps. I think he's watching from home, so I love you. And yeah, I just want to thank everybody, Dainese, AJC, you know, all my sponsors. Thank you. And also, this morning I heard some bad news about a rider, Lucas Salvadori. He sadly passed away, and I used to watch him since I was little, so it really hurt when I saw it. But you know, this is for him, and it's a great ride. This is for everybody that's helped me out this year. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Alessandro, and of course our thoughts with Luca's family. But right now here in COTA, the day belongs to Alessandro De Mario. He's the BellissiMoto Twins Cup champion. Let's move across and speak to a guy that I think deserves another equally huge round of applause. From the floor yesterday to the podium today. What about it? Make some noise here at COTA for Rossi Moore for the Vision Wheel M4 X-Star Suzuki. Spoke to you last night. You looked very, very sore, and I tell you what, that was a heroic ride. Congratulations. You should be super proud, not just of this result, but also what you've achieved this season. Great job, Rossi.
Yeah, thank you, Mike. I'm still a little banged and bruised, but, you know, nothing ever stopped me. You know, it was a great race. It was definitely a hot one. I had a strategy where I just wanted to try and rough up Alessandro in the beginning. I'm not going to lie to him. And, you know, it sadly didn't work out. He just had too much pace for us today, but I'm glad to be the Suzuki on the podium. You know, I don't know what happened to Rocco, but I saw him in the gravel trap waving us down. But, you know, I just can't thank my team enough, Team Hammer, M4 Vision Wheel, X-Star Suzuki. I can't thank Brian, Robin, Chris, John, everybody else who's helped me, my dad. It was also my birthday this weekend, so yes, I didn't really go to plan how I thought it would be. But I got this sick helmet to honor it this weekend. And, yeah, it's been a great year, you know, just developing this bike. And it's been up and down. But, you know, I just looking back now and able to finish it on a second place, you know, it's really worth the season what we put in. So thank you, guys. Thank you, Michael.
Thanks, Rossi, and happy birthday. I didn't know it was your birthday. If I'd have realised that, we'd have brought you a cake during Mike on the Mic. Let's go across then to the guy that finishes on the podium for the second time this weekend and consolidates himself inside the top 3 in the overall championship. What a way to finish the season, Dom. We spoke earlier in the weekend. We spoke earlier today as well. You said the target was to get on the podium. You've done that. Really, really great way to end your year. Congratulations.
Yeah, I've just got to start off by giving the whole GIAC Moto Yamaha racing team a massive shout out. Ryan, Chuck, Blake, David, Ashley, just everyone, Don. I couldn't do this without them, and we've been working our butts off trying to get this thing working this weekend, and it was a tough race. I kind of got boxed in a little bit in that first turn, and just trying to work my way through that and use my bike strengths to my advantage, which kind of paid off. It was a great race, and I just tried to keep Rossi in my sights and just hold on to third. Huge shout out to my whole family for coming out, my brother, my dad, all the other people that are out here supporting me this weekend.
Excellent, congratulations. As I've said since I joined MotoAmerica, I love the Twins Cup. Once again, we've got 3 different manufacturers on the podium, but make some noise for your new champion, Alessandro De Mario. Jamie, Roger, back to you.
Hear all of the fans that are down there celebrating with Alessandro De Mario. All of the riders, they're able to finish inside of the top 3, not just this weekend, but over the course of the season for the championship. They'll get to go up there and collect championship hardware as well, Roger.
Yeah, and for Alessandro, a lot of these riders, Rossi Moore, you think about the next up-and-coming riders coming through the series, Alessandro, Rossi Moore, Dominic Doyle, Gus, and even Rocco Landers. Those guys really elevated each other, I felt like, all year. Every time one of them would step up, the other had to step up and match it, and it's going to be interesting to see which some guys might move to Supersport next year, and some guys might be trying to come back and defend the title or get the title themselves.
Dominic Doyle there collecting his 3rd place trophy. Great weekend for him. He said he was speechless after being able to finish on the podium yesterday, but he was able to do it twice this weekend.
Yeah, twice, and then also that helped him secure 3rd in the championship. And there's a big difference between top 3 in the championship and being right on the outside of it.
And Alessandro De Mario, very hard-earned top step of the podium for him here this weekend. Rossi Moore able to right the wrongs of yesterday and end the season on a high note, not just for himself, but the whole Vision Wheel M4 X-Star Suzuki, Team Hammer, and go into the off-season with something to work with.
Yeah, and just after yesterday's race, I mean, that was a really big high side for Rossi Moore. It's just great to really see him get up and walk off, more or less go out here and get second today and able to like you said, finish the year on a high note. And now going into the off-season, you know, he ends it on a high note instead of, you know, how it was like yesterday, and he can grow, and I think he'll learn a lot. The Suzuki was new this year, so I think the M4 team will make huge strides. Also, Rocco's team is going to make huge strides as well, having the whole winter to make their bike better.
What do you think about the next steps for Alessandro Di Mario?
It just depends what he does, if he wants to come back, but you know, he's already kind of accomplished his goal here in Twins Cup. Maybe move on up to Supersport already. You know, you won the title here. It's kind of job well done, and keep going and start racing with those guys in that next class.
Dominic Doyle there collecting the championship trophy. Talk about the unknowns coming into a season. Giacomoto, that whole organization. Westby Racing going away from Superbike in the off season. Chuck Giacchetto running that program over there, not knowing what he was going to do, and then setting up this program very late here and giving Dominic Doyle the opportunity, and they were able to put together 6 podium finishes. They've won twice this season, and that's what really gave them this 3rd place in the championship.
Yeah, and that's just the consistency, and you know that the team has got some experience with Chuck, but it's the first year on the full season on the Twins Cup bike, and to be able to put the whole year together and end up 3rd overall, and some pretty big battles, and winning 2 races this year, they got to be happy with that.
Alessandro Di Mario collecting the championship trophy. Congratulations to our 2024 BellissiMoto Twins Cup champion, Alessandro Di Mario. So hold the big trophy. Well done. We're going to step away. We'll be right back.